Howdy ho, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Learn to Trade Live US Open as we get ready for the US Open, which will be happening in just about 59 minutes from now. Gee, I'm glad you could join us. My name is Geoff, and I'm coming to you live from Tasmania in Australia, where it is a little bit on the Piccadilly side, I've got to say. And I'll be joined very, very shortly by Ash, who's coming to us from Brighton, where I know it's been a very, very warm summer. I wonder if that's continued as Ash joins the room now. G'day, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yeah, a bit of a rush job today, but sorry about that.
That's all right. Is it still hot in?
No, everything has changed, mate. It has got only over the last couple of days, but it's started to get really wet again now. So back to normal.
Well, it was good way. So you're not going to the beach anymore?
No. I will do when it stops raining. The slight drop in temperature doesn't trouble me because the seals stay warm right up until October. But the rain bothers me. I don't really want to swim in this because it's just pretty. It's a bit dangerous. The waves will start picking up, and all sorts of people get lost in this sort of weather. So I don't bother with this.
I shouldn't laugh, I suppose. I guess.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? Yeah. I mean, people are just really silly. Just people just don't respect the power of the water and the tide and everything else. So they kind of probably need a bit of education about the sea, but they don't pay too much attention or too much heed to the signs and everything else and all the warnings that are out there. But I do, it's just not really my thing to kind of go and put myself at unnecessary risk. I can go to a swimming pool if I have to.
Mate, I'm Australian. We're surrounded by water, and in fact, I'm 30 meters from the ocean right now as I speak to you. And the waves have been pounding in here over the last week or so. We've had a very heavy seas, 5 and 6 meter swells. So the waves have been pretty cool.
Wouldn't swim in that, would you?
When I was a youngster. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, why not? You only live once. Simple as that. Mate, I suppose we could start talking trading rather than swimming in the ocean. As nice as it is, or it used to be. I'm a little bit of a coward these days, I've got to say. And I've actually had a couple of days off, basically. And
that's good.
I don't know what's been going on. So I've got a few trades in the market, though, I must say. And a couple have now been closed with stop losses that have been trailing hit. So I've noticed a little bit of a change.
Yes, there absolutely is. And really interesting, actually. You were calling for the pound to go higher against the euro, and that's maybe started to turn around a little bit. We've seen data from the UK beat expectation when it comes down to some of the inflation data, but not the same in the Eurozone. Certainly the July reading in the Eurozone was at 0.4%, which was expected. The UK was expected at 0.6 and it came in at 1%. So there looks like a bit of a sea change, and it looks like a bit of a change in the numbers as well, which is that they are starting to suggest that there might be a bit of a shift in momentum between those particular currencies. The CAD also came in with CPI data today at 0.1% with an expectation of 0.5 and a previous at 0.7. So inflation in that part of the world doesn't seem to be quite the same. The pound is, the pound's strength is actually pushing the FTSE a little bit lower. It's a bit under pressure here, and the S&P I think finally touched its ultimate level, and it's having a reaction to that. So still really interested in this FTSE short. But both of us were interested in this CAD Aussie short as well, which I think is still potential on the cards.
Yeah,
but
I'm still there.
It's a bit under pressure, isn't it?
It's a bit of
those numbers don't help. Those numbers we just had don't help. But the other thing is that Justin Trudeau sacked his finance minister, or they certainly parted ways. And he's got somebody new in. Not sure what experience they've got, but there seems to be somebody from the media. But a lot more in line with what Justin Trudeau would like to do in regards to spending and stimulus. And it seems that I would have thought that would probably enable the Canadian dollar to push a little bit higher, you know,
Mhm.
because it might, government spending looks like it might actually start coming into play.
Well, I placed two orders on that this morning. One short Euro CAD, and the other long CAD Swiss. And look at this! Look at this chart. We placed Euro Aussie yesterday. Was it yesterday in the earlier session? And we got poleaxed with that big move that we had. Where just before US Open or just after US Open, I can't remember, yesterday. And now it's just completely reversed and done exactly what we thought it would in the first place. So I don't know what that was. We were talking about that, weren't we? It was just before US session, and we couldn't work out what that was all about. But it doesn't matter now. That's history.
Yeah. I'm still not 100% sure. Yeah, exactly what the press or the headline was with that. But yeah, as you say, kind of back to trend. But it could have taken, you know, quite a few people out on different time frames there. And you know, it's really back to my point about switching the time horizon. You know, I don't think this is going to be a period which is going to be making money hard and fast. I think it's going to be, you know, just building into positions and seeing if we can get some moves. Now, there's obviously a few ways that you can trade it to kind of balance out your percentage gain, and you know, one of that is to add to positions and you know, change your kind of leverage profile. But that wouldn't necessarily be the way I'd like to do it. But I do think a bit of a shift in time horizon is probably sensible, and we do seem to have a situation, certainly with the FTSE anyway, that and actually with that that Aussie CAD, which obviously I've been keeping my eye on for the last few days, where it's just gone nowhere. And the only way really to trade it now is to try and get into a position and see if some volatility might kick in over the course of the next week or month rather than over the course of the next day.
Yeah, it's got to get out of here, hasn't it? Look, it just can't get.
It can't. No, you know, the buying volume actually in that area is pretty thick, and the other thing is it's got to, if it can get above where it is now and close, then I would not be interested in the shorts in this one in this particular phase anyway. So
yeah, I still am, but yeah, just not quite there.
Yeah, struggling, isn't
it? I'll probably be using this line here, I would imagine. So a fake out of that would do me, I think. But again, you've got this issue. The pivots are just all over it, or it's all over the pivot. So I think I need a big move. We've got to get out of here somehow.
Yeah.
And then look for a direction that has been caused, I suppose.
Well, do you know, I was going to talk to you about that, mate, because you know, as you say, a big move is really something that needs to happen with this one. And when you look at those pivots and the way that they are squeezing, what information does that give you?
Well, it already gave us the information, and we I suppose needed to listen a little bit harder. Although I can't even remember the commentary I had on it when we were here. But as soon as the pivots squeezed together, there's a reason why that's happened, and the reason why that's happened is because price has gone nowhere at the end of the day. And this goes back probably into here where we did have gaps between the pivots, and we went bang bang. And as soon as we go bang, bang, obviously the pivots are going to close in. And it tells us, just like it did here, as soon as the pivots close up, we just go into consolidation. So really, it's an indicator that we're going to consolidate for a little bit. And that's exactly what's happened. So now we need to get out of here. And it's anybody's guess, to be honest, which way it will break. If it breaks to the high side, I'd be tipping that we're going to see a false break. And that's exactly what I'll be looking for. The key thing here, I think, is still that nothing's changed from what we were seeing in the first place. And what we were seeing in the first place was a very clear head and shoulders at the top of a big run. We had a absolutely clear neckline, which was broken and has been retested. And I don't know that we've closed back above that yet, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, well, maybe we have. So there has been a close above the neckline. Maybe that is significant. Maybe it isn't. The next one, of course, is, as we said, these trend lines that we've got. And if I do see a significant close, say 4-hour chart, daily chart above this line now, I think we're probably back to the shoulder.
I think you're right.
And then maybe looking for short again.
Yeah, I think you're right, but pretty messy. And you know, as I say, I mean, if we increase our time horizon, the chart is easier to read, because we're not having to kind of, you know, suffer the longer term time frames and the short term time frames. And that's kind of how I feel about many of these really right now. I think it's just better to kind of go out and just step back with the view a little bit and see what we can surmise from what's there on offer.
You know, I picked some wonderful times. I picked some wonderful times to go on holidays. You know, my analysis has been pretty much spot on so far this week, and haven't got anything to show for it yet. In fact, I'm a little bit behind. Swissy yen was one.
Yeah.
We were tipping Swissy yen short on Sunday. Bang, hasn't looked back. We were tipping.
Yes, I remember that one actually. Yeah, you were talking about the Swissy yen, weren't you?
Aussie yen short, and
yeah, Aussie yen was another.
We're still waiting for that. That hasn't happened yet. What else was I tipping on Sunday? Euro CAD still hasn't happened. Aussie CAD, as you know. There was one this morning. Euro Kiwi. Man, pretty peeved about this one because I haven't been in front of the charts. But this was very, very clear to me. And I did warn my group this morning that we needed to be paying particular attention to this area here. And it doesn't look that significant on this chart, which is the 4-hour chart. But the instant you go to the daily chart, this looks very, very clear. And this level that I've got on my chart, 180, let's call it 182, hey? Where it has been a strong, well, look at those candles there, COVID-19, wow. But it's been support through here, resistance, couldn't get through it. And since that time, which was back in May, we've just, I guess, floundered underneath it and now come back to that level and put in a beautiful tweezer top. And I said to my guys this morning, just be very aware that this is potentially going short. And the way I would like to trade it is as soon as we get the break, get a daily pivot test, or even before, get a daily pivot test, and away we go. No daily pivot test, bang, straight to the weekly pivot. So that's another one that's got away, but not entirely yet, because that could still play out if we do come back to here, give us a lower high. I'll be looking at that one as well. That's Euro Kiwi, and I was using my little relative strength indicator that I use, thanks to the people at Finviz, and it was really telling me that this is not such a silly idea, and I'll show you why. I've got to change screens, don't I? With Zoom. Let me do that. We'll go to that one. And you can see now that today the Kiwis snuck right up. But this morning, we were looking at this chart, which gives you relative strength versus the dollar. And you can see how weak the dollar is, and now the Swissy as well. But the Kiwi was ahead of the euro. I think they were like in relative positions here. So you could see that change happening where, you know, a week ago you would have said Euro Kiwi short. Yeah, right. You got rocks in your head. But that little signal here where the positions had changed, I can't really show you because it's on the weekly chart. But if you go back to, I suppose, the monthly chart, where you can see the Kiwi floundering and the euro going nuts up here, second only to the CAD at the time. And the quarterly won't be much different, I don't think. Could be wrong. Haven't had a look at that. I am wrong. They were pretty close together. But certainly on the weekly charts thus far this week, you could see the positions had changed between the euro and the Kiwi from month to date versus week to date point of view. So that was a hint. And that little tweezer top there was telling us pretty much, wake up, keep your eyes open, it's going to happen. and maybe it has. As I said, lower high here still gets me interested in Euro Kiwi. So Aussie CAD, Euro Kiwi, still on my watch list big time. CAD Swiss I've got into already. That was another one this morning, and Euro CAD I also placed an order on this morning. I'm chasing this one, I suppose, because I still see a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and we're playing the lower high here as we did yesterday. Didn't get taken into that trade yesterday with that, again, that big move that happened for whatever reason and then sucked its way back. So I'm still looking for a short underneath that bar, and that's pretty much where I'm at. Pound Kiwi still going strong. I think it's come back. Did you buy
that one?
Sorry?
Did you buy the pound?
Pound Kiwi. We've been in Pound Kiwi for, let me see, we got in down here. That was
we got your FinViz still on there, mate.
Oh, sorry, mate. Okay, change. Pound Kiwi. We got in here, and that was when? That was on the 28th of July. So that's what, 2.5 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. I've been not desperate for this, but I've been looking for this to happen. I'm just not sure it can go deep enough, and I don't know that the Kiwi is going to stay strong. I think it's a bit of a rally, but I'd really like to see this come down to here, Pound Kiwi, so I can scale back into it, because I still think this has got a long way to go, and that long way is probably in this vicinity somewhere. So we were shooting for about 2,500 pips when I took the trade. And we were 700 odd yesterday. I think we're back to about 580 or something like that to the good at the moment. So we're about quarter of the way there. 600, just on 600.
Very good, mate. Very good. And the pound looks strong, doesn't it? I mean, we've seen movements in the pound even before today, maybe in anticipation of today. I mean, it's slowed down a little bit off the back of it, but have to assume that the pound has got a pretty good shout of continuing with the numbers that came out today.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's very, very difficult for most of us to put there are some gurus out there, but I'm not one of them who can actually come to terms with exactly what direction things like the pound, things like the US dollar, are going to do medium to long term. Short term these days, when I say short term, 1 week. 1 week is a long time in the currency market right now. And we've seen that time and time again. And if you have a look at the pound dollar chart, I think you'll see that pretty clearly. Actually, we got a great result on the pound dollar, mate, with the breakout trade, which we mistakenly put a stop loss in the wrong place. It gave us all this. Amazing. Sometimes you get lucky. We'll take that because other times you get unlucky. If you have a look at this chart, on a 30-minute basis, and this goes to what you're talking about before, if it will actually change, trading in here is kind of dangerous, and it happens every day. All this choppy stuff. It's really, really difficult to get a good run. Look at that day in particular. Your range for the day is 48 pips for the entire day. The effective range is less than that. It's probably about 30, not even 35 pips. To make money in that area, trading intraday, is nigh on impossible. You'd want to be trading 1 minute charts and get very, very lucky at the end of the day. And that's typical of what we've been seeing. And again, that goes to your point. Do you really want to be trading on the small time frames at the moment in a scenario like this? You're better to wait, until this noise is broken, comes back and retests the breakout area, and then find it on maybe retests. And I think that's probably very, very wise. And pretty much that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been trading 4-hour charts and daily charts. pretty much exclusively. And when those 30-minute trades come along, wow, you've got to hang on tight, because, things like in, out, and then you go into this sort of garbage and oh my God, what am I doing in here? Wasting my time. So anyway.
Any comments on gold, mate?
Yeah, mate, I'll leave that to other people.
Good comment.
They're my comments. Look, I don't know anything about it, mate. So it really is like asking me to talk about women's perfume or something, because I've got no idea.
What about comments on women's
okay,
perfume?
but I don't know what it's about. Sorry.
What about any comments on women's perfume? Any ideas on?
Well, there you go. There's my comment. Smells okay, but I don't know anything about it.
It smells
good,
okay,
and I don't know anything about it.
Does it all smell okay? I mean, this is the.
Oh no, God no.
See, we're starting to break through now. So we don't really know.
Some of those cheap things, man, they smell like you're in a fish shop.
Bit like gold-plated stuff, maybe.
Actually, I went to a fish shop for dinner tonight.
You see, the fish shop. So in context, the fish shop actually smells pretty good.
Well, the fresh fish is okay, yes.
Yeah. Or a fish and chip maybe would be.
No, mate, they're absolutely gold. Fish and chips, really nice. We were recommended to go to this place, and sitting on the water there was just very, very nice indeed.
So we don't really.
Yeah, what are you doing as we come into the US session, mate? What can we look forward to?
Well, we are going to look at the FTSE, because the FTSE is still of interest to me, and we're going to run it alongside the pound and have a look at what may be driving the FTSE, maybe in a slightly different way to any of the others. But interestingly, one of the guys in the room, Alan, has taken a Dow short that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, and he's still in that, which is fantastic. And the Dow is probably showing a bit of weakness, but we're going to talk about the S&P, we're going to talk about the FTSE, we're going to talk about the Dow, talk about gold, talk about the VIX. I think we need to bring the VIX into play as well, because the VIX is starting to look interesting without really kind of giving us any definite point of direction. And I think it's going to lead us to a FTSE trade. I'm still really bearish on the FTSE in this particular area. But I don't know. Maybe we get an idea of how and why it unfolds. I don't know, but I will certainly be talking about why I'm bearish, technically speaking, and with some other aspects that I think could be a bit of a driver to take us lower.
And how about last night? How'd we go with cryptos?
Crypto is always interesting. I think Shukri did a fantastic job, and every week I think we're learning more and more about the crypto world. Another one I'm interested in, and I think we will talk about some cryptos. I think we'll bring up some crypto charts and talk about what might be some opportunities that I'm certainly looking for anyway. I would like to talk about Ethereum. I'd like to talk about Cardano, and obviously Bitcoin as the kind of big boy as well. I think we need to talk about that. But we are seeing just a bit of easing to the downside. Now, we also talked about the fact that that these cryptocurrencies do tend to have a relationship to global equities, or maybe the S&P most specifically. And in this particular instance, I wonder whether they're a leading indicator. I wonder whether the actual move that we're seeing in these equities are being now shown to be under stress. And I wonder whether the crypto world and the FTSE as well is just providing us a leading indicator to suggest what may happen next. So we do need to talk about cryptos, and we will be talking about some specific ones later on in the show. And I think it's going to be good to get Shukri's opinion on that as well, and we'll talk a bit more on Friday about maybe ways that those cryptos can be played. CAD Swiss, what's just happened, mate? Is that a daily chart? What's happened there?
Yes, I traded the daily bar today. Where did I get into this? Pretty much here. Where's the daily?
No, I'm not seeing the CAD move so much against anything else at this stage. So are we looking
this
at
is weak as lollywater? Yeah, look, this is my thing this week, a weak Swissy versus the yen in particular. But this is TP1 here. I haven't hit it yet, but it looks like a very strong bar. Does it not? So I just traded. This is just a typical slingshot setup, mate, where we've got a few high test bars sitting on a resistance trade line, and we just need a little bit more to take our TP1, and then we should be looking okay.
Sorry, that was bad timing.
What happened?
What do we know why it's as weak as lolly water?
I think because it's been particularly against the yen, as I said. I'll show you that chart if I can find it. My stomach dropped when I saw this morning because I just haven't been in front of the charts to get into it. So you have a look at this chart, which is just crazy. And it's very, very difficult to give you a strong indication as to why this would be looking to do anything at the moment. But if you drew a line across price where it was this morning, or pretty close there, not this morning, a couple of days ago, you're not bang on that level, but pretty close to it. We were calling this long for a couple of weeks as soon as it broke this range here. So this bar here and this one here took us up to this level. And I'm going back to where? 2012? Is that where that is? Yep. 2013. So, 7 years it's been trying to break out of here. And the only thing that really did it was the decoupling of the euro to the Swissy back in 2015. Was it the 1st of January 2015, as I recall? Something like that. And then ever since, we haven't been able to, there we go. CAD Swiss has just hit TP1. Ever since we've been unable to get back above that level, which is, what did I say before, 118, I think, roughly, just about. And we were there pretty much. So it was pretty clear to me that this was not going to go through here easily, and certainly not in one go. So when that's the case, if you've got a strong level such as that, to me, it's just wait till you get an opportunity and trade the retracement. And the retracement could be substantial. We're talking to that breakout level, 380 pips. So although this chart looks minuscule, it really isn't. There's a big drop down to here. So that's why I was so interested. But gee, it looks strong now, doesn't it? Oh, pull back. Give me a lower high. And that's what I'll be looking for. So that's really the reason I thought the Swissy would come off, mate.
So really technical reasons on that one.
Yep. Oh, yeah. There's no point asking me really a fundamental analysis because I couldn't give it to you. But the technicals were just saying to me it's time for a pullback, as they have been on the euro. I'm still waiting for that to happen on the euro. And at this point, it has not. Well, not to a degree, anyway, not to as far as I would like it to have done. So I'm still, for that reason, bearish. Not so much the euro dollar, because I think the dollar itself is so unreliable. And I'm going to go through that chart, the dollar index chart, in the US session, which is nigh upon us, mate.
Yes, it is. We better wrap this up, actually, mates, and get into the US session. Thanks for popping in, guys. I think we'll continue this conversation over in the room, but we will see the rest of you in the morning. Actually, you're in with me tomorrow morning, aren't you, mate?
I am, mate. Yeah, back on board.
Okay, so we'll be in tomorrow morning at 5 to 8 UK time. You don't have to do the don't be late thing here because it's a different session, but we will see you guys in a little while. We'll see you guys tomorrow. The rest of you stay where you are. And we are on 70, so let's play a tune to kick us off. How do we stop this? You stop it, don't you?
Yeah, I stop it.
Okay.
I can't remember how, but I'll work it out.
You stop it, and I will get us started with some 70s.